Hello Ratbags, it's Jade. Welcome to a Rust First Day How to Survive video today. Rust has been around a long time. You've seen millions of videos, I'm sure, of Ultra Chads doing amazing stuff. But maybe you're trying out on console for the first time like me. This is my launch day stream. I've cut the footage down a little bit, but I want to show you what it's really like. So it's more or less not as edited as it could be. Half an hour of me going around, getting started and showing you how to live solo. I'm going to show you how to be a swamp rat. If you're finding it tough, this is going to be the best way to get started so that you're not getting owned on the beach by noobs. It really isn't a case of me knowing everything there is to know in Rust. I need your help as well. I want tips from you guys, but I have learned a few things trying it out properly on console for the first time. I had about 50 hours in beta, so I want to tell you everything I know now about getting started. Let's go. Okay, so things you need to know. The servers are going to wipe every month. There are weekly wipe servers and there are bi-weekly servers. Double 11 have put up the times that you can expect them to wipe every month, and they look like they're going to be starting around 7 PM on that special day. Now these are some of the most crucial times. If you get a good wipe day, it can be really good fun, get you set up for the rest of the month. If you're having a bad one, go and jump on a weekly wipe server or a bi-weekly wipe server until the next full wipe. That's your best chance. Your blueprints will carry over with you, so if you play on the same server, it's worth it because you will start building up a library. Your blueprints are the little things that you find in little bags inside barrels. You can learn these, you can also learn random ones using workbenches, or you can research items at research tables and they'll always stay on your character on that server. If you play on a different server, you're going to have to relearn them again. So even after wipe, when your base has been wiped completely, all the inventory items have been wiped, you'll still have access to them blueprints, which can help get a head start. Finding more advanced guns, that would be a really good one, obviously, so that you can go ahead and craft them straight away instead of waiting on RNG. Now this will change by the time the tech tree comes in, but that's not coming in for at least another 2 months. So yeah, expect to be doing this for a good time yet. When it comes to Rust and where you start and what you do, I'm literally going to be doing this, like I said, from a point of view of a solo. You want to be heading maybe a little bit more north-east or to the eastern side of the map. Generally you will spawn on the western side, usually around that area, and then it's a case of just getting away from the beaches, away from all the other scrubs. It can be beneficial to maybe start a base down there. You won't get as hassled as much by some of the bigger boys, but the constant grubbing from other players and noobs joining throughout the month means it's really maybe only for people that have got a bit more experience. Some of the best places to go to build a base are in the snow, and particularly avoid monuments like Outpost and the Bandit camp if you don't want to get risking getting done in by everyone that's coming past you. That's not to say they haven't got some benefits. I'm actually going to show you guys how a solo is good to live if you choose the Bandit camp. It can be a really good spot, particularly if you're having trouble getting wiped out by other players constantly, or you're not very good at PvP like me. So we're gathering resources, and you kind of want to just do this a nice little easy run. Gather a bit of wood, get enough materials to make an axe, make a spear, and then just take a chance, look around you and see if there is anyone else building or maybe farming goods. This is where it's worth going and attacking another player, as long as they're not obviously carrying some sort of gun. This is your best opportunity to get some quick, easy loot. Otherwise, you are going to just have to farm up, and it could take you substantially about an hour to farm all the resources needed, and in that time, of course, you're going to be risking getting killed. I spied this poor dude just about getting his twig base up, making some really big mistakes, and I just crept up on him, and yeah, watch. Hello? Hi? Hello? Don't kill me, I'm just come to say hello. Gonna be trying to be nice. What's going on, dude? Hey man, how you been? What's happening? You got a mic, bro? No mic. Dude. Oh, he might not be able to see me. Madonna. Well, he doesn't know his name's Madonna. Sorry, dude. But got to happen then. Don't say hello to me. That might have seemed harsh. I was genuinely actually seeing if he wanted to chat, but once I realised that he wasn't just paying attention, I took the opportunity. Rust is kill or be killed. Don't ever assume anyone's your friend. not even if you've been speaking to them for a while. Really only play with people you really know until you really forged a bond with someone over time. Now there's two lines of thought here. I could have took over his base, I could have made it secure and kept this, but I didn't like the location of it, so don't do this either though. Don't sit there trying to break in. You can actually peer through the wood and see if there's actually anything inside, and of course this guy was completely brand new. He wasn't even hitting the X's on the tree, so clearly this was like his first time ever playing the game, and so obviously I took advantage and that was it. I'm off skis. That little bit of a wood was enough to maybe save me harvesting 3, maybe 4 trees, and so that's going to be a good start for me. In your first stages, avoid monuments. You can see the dome here on the left hand side, and I'm just obviously crafting some light armour just to give me a tiny little bit of extra protection. I'm heading towards the Bandit camp. It's my favourite go-to spot as a solo scrub. I haven't got bundles of time to play this game, and so I have to find somewhere that's going to give me additional help. The bandits there can help if you start learning how to play around it. It's not for everyone. I understand some people get upset about this, but at the end of the day, it's a mechanic that's in the game that you can build around the bandit camp, and it's definitely going to help you. Pick up as much as you can on the way and really just head there hoping to get your resources as well as maybe some barrels. Now if you see any little spazzes or freezes, that's the game currently. Every sort of 10-15 minutes there does seem to be some major freezes. You're going to get radiation poisoning if you go towards some of these places. Even wearing the most basic clothing, you may still need to make sure you're wearing completely full gear, as in everything's got cloth. You've got a cloth helmet, you've got cloth gloves, you've got cloth trousers before you can go in some of these. There's loads of wikis out there that will tell you how much radiation each monument is, and I might even do a proper guide on it in the future. At the moment the maps are static, as in they're chosen from maybe 3 or 4 different maps. There are no procedurally generated ones, so you will start getting used to quite a lot of the maps on console until they start expanding, and of course they're only 2.5 kilometers. We don't know how big they're going to go or when they're going to introduce bigger ones. So on the way, pick up the food, eat the food as soon as you can. You want to get your food up to its maximum level, which is the blue bar, and then hopefully your health will go up to 100 by the time you've got your food up. It gives you a tiny amount depending on what you eat, and just pick up absolutely everything you can, nodes and cloth especially. Wood is definitely something you're going to need to get yourself a base going, and I would say you probably need around 3,000 to 4,000 wood to get a very basic structure up and running. It costs 1,000 wood for TC, which I'm going to show you guys, and then obviously you've got to make sure you've got doors, and that costs a good couple hundred of wood as well as locks. So I'm heading towards Bandit, and here you can breathe a sigh of relief. If you made it this far without getting killed, well done you. Depending on what time you join the server is important. If you're a solo player, you may want to think about joining a different region from yourself. So if you're in the UK, joining an American one means that you will be able to have a bit of a quiet time in the mornings, and the Americans won't be getting on until it's pretty late for you. So by the time you go to bed, that's when they're all on at the most peak. It does mean you're open more to offline raiding, but as a solo player, if you're building just a small little few shacks, you're not going to be a target like some of the other bigger ones. Likewise, if you're an American player, playing on EU servers, you hopping on at 9 PM at night means lots of the European servers are starting to go quiet and go a bit dead. So it could be a great time to run around, gathering resources or doing some of the monuments. There'll always be a bit of crossover having PvP. If you're getting on at 4 or 5 PM in American time, then that's 9 or 10 PM in UK. So if you want to go and try your skills at PvP, you'll find people, don't worry. But if you're looking for a bit of a quieter time, pay attention to them and choose the server. Yes, you will have a little bit of a higher ping, but the servers aren't too bad in terms of that aspect. It definitely pays off as well. The actual encounters you'll have, you'll spend far more time doing farming and running around monuments than you will actually PvPing other players. So we're at Bandit camp right now. Make sure you don't have a weapon equipped. It's always useful to make sure you've got a torch in your hand, and you've made sure that you've unequipped the auto equip button in the menu. You can pretty much choose to always put something in your hotbar when it's crafted, or a health item. So I would always choose the health item. That's the recycler. You want to put everything that's in available there. Any metal components you found, pretty much anything you've come across in barrels. At this early stage, there really isn't much point in keeping some of the components. You just want to get enough scrap so you can buy some other items, or go ahead and get the scrap ready to start researching stuff. The one exception to a weapon inside these places is your rock. You can hold your rock and damage some of the barrels, and it's definitely worth just living like this. You'll find plenty of food, it'll be in the water sometimes, just on the outside edges. You can play around, grab bits and bobs, and you're pretty much safe. Sure, you can get shot from other players still, they might be outside the zone, but they won't be able to loot your bag. As long as you're in the safe zone that you can see on the bottom right hand side, they won't be able to take your stuff. As long as you don't hit them, as long as you don't go around pulling out a weapon in this place, it's a really good spot for brand new guys, especially noobs to Rust that have never really played it or not very good. Now these different coloured barrels result in different types of items, or at least different hits. The blue ones have got some of the most life in them, I do believe, and the whiter sort of creamier ones, they can be damaged quite quicker. So just go ahead and start scrapping and getting some of this. An alternative playstyle when running through the first time in Rust is to do road runs. Literally do nothing but just go along the big major roads to one of these monuments and try and get lucky. You might get caught, you might not think it's worth it, you want to just get a base up straight away, but picking the right time means you get a lot of gear that you can then take to the outpost and then get yourself crafting everything you want. I'm going to start making the components for our base now. I've got my TC, I'm going to go and go ahead and get a lock. You're going to need at least 2 doors and 2 locks, but originally just start with at least 1 door and 1 lock, and maybe 1 lock for the TC as well, it's beneficial. You won't need stone yet, so it's not really worth actually making a stone pickaxe. You can upgrade your base once you've got the wooden foundations down properly. So what I like to do is I like to find a spot very close to where the actual bandits are situated. So we're going to gather a few more resources like these trees here. Now some of the wood around this area doesn't give you as much as some of the other trees in other locations, and you can harvest the logs that you find on the floor. But generally you want to be opposite directly some of the guards. If you build out on the outside edges and there's no guards near enough, they're not going to help protect you. And the idea of protecting you is this: if you build your entrance facing the guards, you've got more chance of not getting door camped. They will shoot anyone that has their weapon out within anywhere close to your base at the frontwards, and it does give you just that extra little bit of protection. A lot of experienced players also won't bother with small bases at this location. They know you're a little scrub lord, they know you're a noob, so chances of you having some amazing loot are probably none. I played the closed beta a good amount of hours. I played the open beta, like I said, at least 50, and I built here every single time because I just didn't know if I was going to have enough time, and I only had a teammate maybe once or twice. It's worth doing if you're really struggling in Rust. Either you're getting owned at the beach, or you found some great location, you've got to harvest all the resources to build your first 2x2, and you've got owned straight away by some passing player. This eliminates so much of that risk. You can just run into the bandit camp and not worry. One thing you should be doing though is making a bed and putting it down as soon as you possibly can, as close to this site, just as extra insurance, and it means you don't have to run back as far. Although there are benefits to starting over again, as long as your stuff is safe inside this zone. If you do get killed by some troll player, you can go ahead and do another road run, gather more resources on the way, and that could get you enough to get your base up and running. So we're hitting the X, obviously. It doesn't give you any more resources, it only makes it go a bit quicker, and it kind of is tailored and balanced so they're not all in just the last hit. You will seemingly get a lot, but it's to stop other players from pretty much leaving trees and then not getting them. You can pick up lots of wood as well, little stumps there, that's going to give you at least 100, and as I said, keep eating. You want to keep getting your food well up as high as you can. Now one thing don't do, the outpost has similar properties, but it's a little bit more risky because the guns at the outpost can shoot from much further. It's much easier for you to get shot and killed by one of the NPCs or one of the machines that are there, and the way that they can range, it just means that it's going to be more difficult for you doing this kind of playthrough, especially when if you get killed because you pulled a gun out or you weren't paying attention to the warning. It takes 30 minutes for that timer to go down, and if you're killed again because you go back to get your bag, they add another 30 minutes, so pretty much means you'll start losing your loot. So it's a real delicate balance. It takes a bit of a while to get used to, but here at the bandit camp it's not as bad. You can kind of play it a little bit. Like I said, there's areas around the bandit camp where they won't really shoot at you enough. That's why you've got to aim and put your base as sort of in front of the bandits as close as possible, and making sure that you can actually build so it's not all going red. Now, I didn't actually have all the resources I needed here. I should have probably gone and got another maybe 1,000 wood at least, and you'll see that I'm kind of struggling around. But as I said, it's a bit of a quiet time. There's only maybe 30 people on the server. I'm being a scrub lord around here, so the chances of someone coming along and trolling me are pretty much zilch. It's the first day of the wipe as well, and so it does mean that not everyone's running around with loads of guns, which is pretty much the only way you're going to destroy my twig base unless you've got loads of pickaxes or some dedicated tool like a drill. Now, it's important to get your TC set up nicely, but just as important is to get your airlock. Now, you want the airlock facing the guards. That's one of the most crucial parts, so that they can shoot the doorway or anyone close to your doorway if they're kind of hiding or trying to have a gun out ready to get you. You could even build smaller than this. It'd be nothing wrong in building a 2x2 and then soft siding the back wall and extending it, or going long ways. Actually build towards sideways rather than going back. Obviously, the back part of your base now is more vulnerable. It does mean you'll get raided from behind more, because it does mean their base is hiding people being able to shoot you. But I think it still weighs it up. Like I said, as long as your base isn't huge, most people are going to ignore you. I was never raided once, other than one person tried getting through one of my wooden doors, and literally he was amazed to find I'd split my base into 3 different compartments, and the door he chose happened to be the one that had the metal walls but a wooden door, and so I made it look like that on purpose, and what he found inside was just my sleeping bag. But yeah, the general rule of thumb is you should have your materials to put down your TC, your twig base, upgrade it to wood, as well as get at least one door on, and then the airlock. I, like I said, didn't pay attention to that. I was chatting away to stream as I was getting this done, but more or less we got there. So I've done 2x2, and then I've got my airlock showing. You want the doorways when you get to them, obviously, and the doors opening in, and pretty much that will also give you a bit of extra protection. Now at this point, you want to think about putting the door in and then a lock. Like I said, it's risky. It does mean that other players could shoot some of your twig stuff, come in and take your resources, but they'll still get shot by the guards, and your stuff should be still safe on you. The only damage they're going to be doing is to your little base, or if they wanted to take it over, they might be able to. As soon as you put that TC down, you've authorized it and put a lock on it, no one else is going to be able to take over your base. Not without destroying your TC, your tool cupboards, by the way. That's what TC stands for. So you can see I've run out of wood one more time. Let's go and get some more quickly. So you do need obviously a wooden hammer. That's how you upgrade and change your shredded little twig base into actual proper wood, and just go up to it and then tap the X or the square button, and you can see we're upgrading it. And you really just want to upgrade all the foundations and the wood sides. If you've got any stone or metal on you, be careful. You may accidentally upgrade it to stone or metal, and you don't really want to do that right now. You just want to focus on upgrading it to wood. The next stages will be stone, and that will be the foundation, so that players can't come underneath here and flame you. That is often an early game tactic. If someone manages to get hold of a flamethrower, that's something they can do. Whereas if you get the stone foundations in, it will stop them being able to do that. People can come ahead and go and just raid you in wood. It's not like super material going on here. If they've got lots of metal tools, they could sit there and just pick at you, and it will take them a while, and they'll get through about 6 or 7 of them maybe. But yeah, on day 1 and stuff, you can reliably know that a wooden base like this should be okay in this location. And like I said, the smaller you are, the less of a target you are. Bigger boys, you'll be seeing them around here already. Triads that have got big huge stone bases, metal foundations up all over the gaff. They're not really going to be going after small fry like you, although there is some benefits. Obviously, like I said, catching someone unawares like I did can really set you up a bit quicker, and it might be something you design really properly do, just running around the beaches hoping to get everyone. But that's it. I'm now fully almost safe, just got to put a roof on, and again in this location, the chances of a player using a ladder to get up and twig me is pretty minimal, but I'm still going to go ahead and upgrade as much as I can. This is why it's important that you have enough materials to do it in one go. But like I said, depending on your location, you could be doing harvesting and farming, and you're just giving it to another player. So get protected as soon as possible. Now, TC location's important. I actually like preferably putting it on the side of where the guards can shoot. Like I said, it's just another little bonus. It's kind of maybe not expected to be there. They'll assume it's in the furthest part of my base, and I normally put a wall breaking up or a garage door or double doors in between the TC and my actual entranceway there. Get yourself another sleeping bag down, so you'll be spawning inside your own base, and you're more or less starting to get set. We now just have to do the airlock, and you can see I've put a lock on my TC, so that means someone's going to have to properly destroy it. They won't be able to just open it up and get anything that I've got inside. Now everything's going hunky-dory. I've just gone on a little wood run, maybe seen what else was about close by, and of course that sound. This is the attack chopper, and it's absolutely a bastard. It will shoot you if you're wearing 3 pieces of clothing or you've got any kind of ranged weapon in your hotbar. So make sure you unequip some of your armour. Even if it's just cloth, it will still shoot at you. It's got machine guns, it's got rockets with napalm, it can do a lot of damage, and it will fire them rockets at your base occasionally too if you manage to sneak inside before it's killed you. Now it's meant to pop up every 2 to 4 hours, and it's randomly where it will kind of head towards first, but it does end up doing patrols. So if you ever see one in a distance and it's firing, it might be worth going over there like a little scrub lord with nothing on and seeing if you can grab any components or kits that players have managed to drop. Literally, you'll just be following the trail and the blood path of it. As long as you haven't got any ranged weapons in your hotbar, like I said, or them 3 items of clothing, you should be okay. Your bags, when you die, they will stay on your body, or your body will stay there for a while. So you've got about maybe 35 to 50 minutes. It's not 100% guaranteed what it is. They may have changed the timers from what it is on PC. But at the moment that I've seen, your bags will last longer than 30 minutes. That's why it's important. If you ever get shot at Outpost or Bandit Camp and it says you've got a 30-minute timer, don't go back. Don't get killed again. Otherwise you can kiss goodbye to all of that loot, as I'm pretty sure after an hour it will disappear. The first time you die, you will obviously see where you died and you can run back to and get your loot, but if you die again, that's it as well. So pay close attention, take a screenshot using the Xbox or the PlayStation functions to share, and that way you'll always find your loot even if you are killed on the way back. So let's hurry up and get this base done, and we're pretty much through the first stages of how to set up if you're a noob. I'm fully okay. Once we get that last ceiling piece done, which I've almost nearly forgotten here watching this footage, and I'm getting myself another doorway done, getting myself some storage, and I'm going to get some more locks going on and a little bit more protection. There's so much food around the outpost here, you don't really need to go too mad in cooking and prepping stuff. You can always find plenty of food in crates, or players other planting lots of stuff like pumpkins. There's loads of players that will build in and around this area, and lots of places set up shops here too. For the same reason, it will give them a little bit of extra protection if their shops are facing where the bandit camp is. Now your TC can handle pure resources, whereas obviously you've got to put components and other weapons and stuff you're not using in storage chests. One thing I didn't realise was that you could move your doors, you can take them away. For some reason I thought you always had to destroy them to get rid of them or replace them with metal doors. But this is what you want to do. You want to have your airlock, the first door opening in, and then the second door also opening out. And this gives you an extra bit of added protection. You can then go ahead and put the locks on them, and you can remove them as long as you've got the hammer, as long as you open the door, and as long as you remove the lock. You just need to press the X button on the locks, or the square button, hold it, and then it'll give you the option to pick the lock up. So like I said, make sure it's open, make sure it's unlocked, and you should be able to take the lock off, then take the doorway and replace it with a metal one. This is crucial that you want to get done just before you log off. If this is the only time you've got, you kind of do want to get a metal door up, at least on this one at first, or the second one, and then frustrate players. Obviously as soon as they've got inside your airlock though, they may not be getting shot at by the bandits, so it's probably worth putting a metal one at the very beginning. And there we go, we're completely airtight. We're more or less safe for now for the first day. Go ahead and start putting your stuff in storage like I said, and now it's a few different ways you can play. You can go and farm some gear, you can hopefully go and get enough resources to upgrade your base to stone, and that might be a good one to do, or you could just go straight away and start doing more loot and barrel runs, explore some of the monuments. Depending on what time you've got on, if it's quiet, that's the best time to go and get some of the monuments done. If it's a bit busy, you might want to risk and roam, get some barrels and see if you can come up across any players with less gear than you or less skills, and see if you can take them out and get some of their stuff. You're not going to be rolling around with guns on day one unless you've learned the blueprints and you got really super lucky with a crew and you managed to get resources. That's the trouble with playing solo. It's going to take you longer, so you've got to be a bit more sneakier, you've got to be a little bit more rat bag like. And we're pretty much coming to the close of the first day. It's about to become night time and I've done as much as I can. You might want to go back into the Bandit camp, familiarise yourself with the shops, the stuff there that you can sell, you can trade to get more scrap or get more items. Obviously you can use the recycling bench, and there is a research table and a workbench. So for ages you don't actually have to make a workbench. It's a lot quicker and easier just to have one, but you could use them resources in other ways. So this is why again it's so great living as a little scrub around the swamp. You can just use everything that's in there available. There's even a repair bench in there as well, and because we're so close we'll be able to take our stuff over and really not risk getting shot or door camped at any time. I'm pretty close to launch on this map, and so that's a really good spot to go as soon as you get enough to avoid some of the radiation, as well as obviously having a proper hazmat suit. That will be like the gold premium. Whenever you get anything like that, research it. Don't go and start using it straight away. If you haven't got the blueprint for a hazmat suit, absolutely quickly get enough scrap, take it into the research table inside the swamp here and go ahead and learn it. And that's key for every item that you find. Don't get too confident just because you've just found an AK. Waste it at your peril. Go and learn that so you can craft more in the future. There's a few other times you need to know. If you kill a player or attack anyone outside of this zone, it usually gives you like a minute cooldown. If you try attacking anyone while in the zone, that's when you get the 30-minute cooldown. So be careful you haven't just done something stupid like drawn a weapon out while inside one of these places, then gone out and immediately started trouble, as you might not be able to make it back into your base without getting shot and killed. Again, it takes a little bit of time to get used to playing around the swamp, but I think when you do, it can really help, like I said, solo players. You should be focusing on getting plenty of tools and stuff ready to go instead of being a dick like me with my torch breaking up barrels, but still pretty much go on the barrel runs. That helicopter up there, that's going to drop supply drops. It goes to different monuments and it will show on the map that a supply drop has been dropped there. You've got to be careful in the early stages. Even then, players are going to flock to it to try and get loot, and unless you've got some decent weapons and armour, I would say it's maybe not worth it unless you really are going to be a bit of a ninja and hope no one else has got on, or the server is pretty dead. If the servers are dead, go ahead and gather resources, do a barrel run along the roads till you get to the swamp. If the servers are busy, head straight to the swamp and then start gathering resources around it. That way you're still within safety. Hopefully you might be able to make it back in time in case anyone tries trolling you or getting at you while you're getting some resources. As said, scrap almost everything unless you've got the blueprints learned already. So I'm not going to scrap any needle and thread or tarp because I need that for hazmat suits. They're the only two components I'm going to keep, as I don't have anything else learned. Once you start learning some more, once you've got a stone base and once you're starting to get more resources, start crafting stuff, that's when you're going to keep certain things that you're going to make guns out of. So until then though, just literally you want to be getting as much scrap as possible to learn stuff that you find. If this video has been helpful, let me know. Day 2 will be me pretty much showing you some of the monuments, what to do and what not to do as we start getting more gear for our base. Until next time, ratbags, I'll catch you later.